Okay, this video, right, is being directed solely towards all Oriental Asian people who are really too fucking whitewashed and who really think that their proximity to whiteness makes them somehow special and that they could play around with black people because they have this anti-hate shit going on because they're too up the ass of whites, right? Let me just let you know before I show you these clips and stuff, I'm going to show you a black guy who actually is going to speak to you more civilly than I will, and this ignorant ass Oriental girl that's going to get fucked up. Because let me explain something to all of y'all. Everybody listen. White people, you're the cause of this shit. You created that word to kill black people, to hate black people, and to incorporate anti-blackness and black hateness. Black hate people to have black hatred towards black people all over the fucking world. You know that's an ugly word. You know that shit is a trigger for us, okay? I don't care what any of y'all say about hip-hop. Hip-hop, hear me when I say this. Hip-hop is not a culture of black people. It is a genre of music based off of straight up and down bullshit. These are grown-ass black males giving y'all stories of fantasy and bullshit and misogyny about black women. Hip-hop is not black culture. It does not represent black people. It is not how we live. It is not who we are. And do not think for 1 second that you can justify calling a black person a nigger because you listen to hip-hop, or that you're a wigger, or you're down with the culture. You will get fucked up beyond your understanding, depending on what black person you deal with. Now, see, young black people may think that it's culturally accepted to call each other that word, but us older women and other black people that are actually woke, as in the definition of what black people created and not this bullshit that white people got circulating, you're gonna get fucked up. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and you may even get killed. Because some black people do not fuck around with that word, okay? And if you want to know how serious we are about playing with us with that word when we're not fucking playing, right? You better go back to some 1970s clips of people literally being killed by black people for calling them that. And nobody's afraid of the cops or any consequences like that. So all your Asian executive order, understand that. Because when you fuck with us, you're going to understand the history that we had to live through. If you invoke the triggers of the right people by fucking around with that damn word. Because that word, you don't understand, right? So I'm explaining it to you. That word has caused black women to be hung from trees, brutally raped, beheaded, and sliced open with machetes. That word has caused little black children to be fed to alligators, to be lynched from trees, had their skin ripped from their body, their limbs torn from their torso. That is what that word represents to us. That word represents black males being tarred and feathered, beaten to death, dismembered, taken out of their houses in the middle of the night, and done worse than Emmett Till. Stop playing with us with that fucking word. That word is not a joke to us. A lot of us try to exercise a lot of patience with y'all. We'll try to shake it off or whatever, but please stop playing with us with that word. That word holds all of the savagery and the dehumanization that we suffered from white people under slavery, and to the present day of being disenfranchised in this society and being fully discriminated against simply because we have beautiful melanated skin. Stop playing with us with that word, because you're going to find that a lot of black people not going to be playing with you when they tell you, don't call me that, don't say that around me. We mean that shit with all of our heart and soul. And I understand people like to be internet gangsters and shit like that, because this is the internet and we can't reach out and grab you and fuck you up. But you better believe, in the flesh, in person, you're not going to be able to fucking deal with what you're going to unleash playing with that word. So please keep that in mind. Education is elevation, and it may save your motherfucking life playing with black people with that word. I'm straight telling you. Not all of us are the same, and we not built the same way. You better stop letting the shit that white people teach you about black people be your Bible or whatever, because they're not telling you anything about black people that is actually truthful or genuine. They're going to get you hurt.
Your culture, it's not your word. And that saying the N-word to a song shouldn't be offensive, because personally,
you're not black. That's why we don't care what you have to say personally. Newsflash, sweetheart. Hip-hop may be a worldwide thing, but it's a worldwide thing that we started. And like everything that we start, it seems like everyone everywhere else wants to take absolutely everything from us, and there's nothing that we can have for ourselves. If you don't understand the N-word debacle, let me explain it in this way to you, without trying to seem offensive, even though you really just annoyed me. You can go to your female friends right now, let's say like your 5 besties or whatever, and you be like, hey, B-word, what's up, B-word? And your friend responds, B-word, oh my God, did you hear? Yo, B-word. That's acceptable amongst you two. You two have built a bond in a relationship where you understand the context to which you are using. Now, you, my dear, you have no idea who I am. If I start calling you that same B-word right now, you would respond, hey, yo, who the F are you calling a B? As you should, because there's no relationship between us. I don't understand how you can understand that concept with another word, but not understand it with something like that. Furthermore, you have to ask yourself, why do you think it shouldn't be offensive when that word has caused death? Like a lot of death. Regardless to why we use it, why do you and other white people feel like it's okay to use it? Not attacking you. Seriously, I'm asking you to think. Why do you want to use the word so bad? Let me tell you something, my dear. There's a lot of hate that goes around in this country. In fact, there's a lot of hate that goes around in the world. You are Asian. Especially in light of recent years, Asians have been getting an increased number of hate. Please do myself a favor, since you would be far more well-versed in something like that than something like this. Speak out for your people. You don't have to speak on black issues. We got this. My issue with you is I don't even think you're actually conservative. I think you've been brainwashed. You don't even know it because you haven't activated your critical thinking enough. Because just from that video that I stitched, I can tell what type of people you hang around and what type of news outlets you watch. And that's disappointing. Open your eyes to reality, girl, and stay woke. And when I say woke, I mean the real woke. Not what you think it is and what all the media has turned it into. Because like I said, y'all take everything from our culture. I would really like to believe that you're smarter than what you're portraying yourself to be right now. And you may not see no damn rainbow because I think that rainbow is ugly as hell, but I'm a bisexual man. So if you got a problem with what I say and who the hell I am, please tell me about myself so I can read you fulfill. Respect people and stop being a fucking jerk.
All right, I'm going to address the N-word situation thing that's been giving me hundreds of hate comments and DMs every single day. I'm going to clarify one thing. Having an opinion is not a fucking crime. When I first stitched Maurice's video, I was just agreeing to his opinion that saying the N-word to a song shouldn't be offensive, because personally, even if someone said the C slur, which is only ever used in a derogatory way, even among Asian people, to a song, I wouldn't give a fuck. Now, did I ever say that because of my personal opinion, saying the N-word to a song all of a sudden isn't offensive anymore and people should go out and say it? No! I know some black people find it offensive, and it is offensive. I am not denying the fact that it is offensive. I just think personally that it shouldn't be offensive. Before all the haters say, oh, that's none of your business, stay in your lane. First of all, hip-hop is a worldwide thing. Second of all, I'm allowed to have an opinion on anything I want. Also, I know a lot of people made videos on me, like at least 15 people. A majority of the videos I didn't watch, but to the couple that I did, as soon as I saw either a pride flag or they pronouns in your bio, I clicked out because I don't take you seriously. Finally, a little message to the haters. Y'all can't call me shit without putting words in my mouth, but I can call you racist because y'all actually call me slurs in my comments. Classic, right? You're outspoken and you have a different opinion, so they label you all sorts of things. And to all my supporters defending me in the comments, I thank you so much. Like, I really, really appreciate it because it's literally a war zone in there. And I just want you guys to know that I'm never, ever going to stop speaking my mind because that's just who I am. Okay, bye. I was just
Now you see, that is what happens to Asian people when they hang around white people to the point where they start believing they're white. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not lost on me that they went to court in America to sue to be considered white. I understand that. But the way this little girl thinks is going to get her fucked up. It really is. Especially if she's singing songs around black people and she uses that word, and that particular black person is not playing these little hip hop games or doesn't think that dehumanizing or recalling, you hear the word I said? Recalling the history of that word to that person, because what all of you don't understand when it comes to black people is we're all at a different level of dealing with the history of slavery in this country. And you don't know what black person you're talking to that has had a very intimate issue with the legacy of slavery in this country and the use of that word. Now, I know white people try to go out of their way to convince y'all that slavery was a long time ago so that they don't have to pay for reparations for the crimes against humanity they committed against us. But it was not a long time ago. My grandmother's mother was born into slavery, and that was less than 100 years ago. Do you understand that? And we're not talking about the transatlantic slavery that started it with the English people. We're talking about the American chattel slavery that was ongoing in this country up until the 1960s. Do you understand that? Meaning there were pockets throughout the South where people were still being held in bondage as slaves. Domestic servants, where they literally could not leave land and property that were owned by white people, where they were being worked literally to death. They were born on that land and still had to work it. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, there's a very famous story of the woman Alice, who they made a movie about, that Kiki Walker betrayed her. And if you just look up some of the last few slaves of America in the current time, you will see there was a man, I forget his name right now, who was literally found on these white people's farm. His whole family had died and he was the last of them. He had been worked so badly that his body was literally deformed. So with that, and the fact that slavery just doesn't cover the fact that you had people in bondage and in chains, it's all the psychological effects, the social situations and conditions you make people live in or don't live in, the isolation that you do to people as a result of you being a white piece of shit, deeming that a beautiful black person's or African descendants' existence is somehow severely offensive to you, to the point where you feel like you have a right to play God with that person's life. That's all the shit that you're dealing with, known as psychological effects of slavery, with individual black people that you don't know the extent of when you play with that fucking word. And that word has the ability to trigger the mildest, most kindest, mild-mannered person into a raging homicidal maniac if you fuck with the wrong one. So look here, little Kiki chick, you could come on here trying to pretend that you are some modern day spokesperson for black people, and you feel like because you have a right to opinion you get to speak on everything. Do it at your own risk, baby girl, because if you use that word around me, I'm gonna mollywop your ass. I'm just letting you know, okay? And I don't give a fuck who comes after that, but I'm mollywopping your ass. I'm telling you, because that word for me brings back all the terror that my mother had to deal with in her life. My mother. And she was born in 1950. All of the terror that she had to live through in her lifetime. And then my grandmother, all the terror she had to live through as a white passing black woman, and all of her siblings, and etc. and etc. Same thing for my grandfather on both sides and my father. So be careful using that word around different black people. Just don't use it at all, because it was made to dehumanize us and to cause fear and trauma in us, to get us to behave and be completely obedient to pieces of shit that did not deserve to live. So if you want to know why we don't play with that word, and for those of us that have sense and that are not selling our fucking souls to a record company to make $2 more lunch money, we don't use that word. Not the way you think, okay? We don't use that word like that. And when we use it, we're using it where we're angry with the other person. Not, let me tell you something. When you, I'm not even going to go into what we do personally with each other because that's none of your business, but do yourself a favor and stop thinking that hip-hop music represents black people, because it does not. It is music that dysfunctional black males make to disrespect the community and the people they come from. Understand that, okay? Trying to copy that music is going to cause you problems around the right people, okay? And I know you're not going to understand it or respect it because you look like a person that spends a lot of time around whitey. So I wish you the best, homegirl, because you're going to get your head knocked off. You really are. Thinking like them, that where you could do whatever you want, whenever you want, they get their heads knocked off and you're going to join the crowd. Because people are not playing with y'all, all right? They're not. It's not open season on, I'm going to just do what the fuck I want to black people and they going to stand there and let me. No. They're going to buck up and do some shit to you. So, if you about that life, live that life. But I don't suggest it for you because you don't look like you could deal with it.